Did I read the code? Now, what you asked, I don't take it that you're wanting to argue. That wasn't my intention. But I'm doing a screen record so I can discuss it since I'm driving. You said, aren't we considered vessels according to 18 USC 9? Well, not me, but the principal. Um, could it be argued? Maybe, but I don't think it's considered that. Now, let's look at the code. The term vessel of the United States as used in this title. What title is that? Title 18. That is not outside of this title. Okay, so as used in this title means a vessel belonging in whole or in part to the United States or any citizen thereof or any corporation created by or under the laws of the United States or of any state's territory, district, or possession thereof. So first, when it says belonging in whole or in part to the United States, everything after that comma falls under that in whole or in part means a vessel belonging in whole or in part to one of those things. Okay? So, does that trust belong to the United States? Yes, it doesn't belong to you. Okay? Is it a corporate entity? Yes. Now, could it be argued maybe that it's a vessel of the United States because it was created under the laws of the United States? Maybe, but I don't think so. Vessel has a, you gotta say what is a vessel. So let's actually go to Title 18 and see if there's any definitions. So they give you the term vessel of the United States, but what is a vessel? I don't know. We got to see if there's any definitions that discuss that. Principles, accessory, misdemeanor. So it's got vessels of the United States defined. So there doesn't appear to be a definitions page for Title 18 where you could get a term vessel. So that one will have to be researched. So I would say, I don't think it is. A trust is still a trust. That's just the simple, that's why I say it's the simple way to look at it. Getting into all this other stuff, I really personally believe complicates it. So that's why I say no. That's the biggest reason I say no. It's easier for me to argue that it's a trust than it is that it's a vessel of the United States. Do me a favor and give me a list of all U.S. codes that define or give a meaning for the word vessel.
That's a great question. The definition of the term vessel can be found in various parts of the U.S. Code, typically related to maritime law. One of the most common definitions is in Title I, Section 3, which defines a vessel as any watercraft or other artificial contrivance used or capable of being used as a means of transportation on water. If you need a more detailed list of all sections that define vessel, let me know and I can look that up for you.
Yes, I want a detailed list.
Certainly. The term vessel is defined in several sections of the U.S. Code. Here are some of the key sections. Title I, Section 3, this section provides a broad definition of a vessel, stating that it includes every description of watercraft or other artificial contrivance used or capable of being used as a means of transportation on water. Title 46, Section 2001. This section is part of the shipping code and includes multiple definitions related to different types of vessels, such as vessel of the United States, tank vessel, towing vessel, and more. Title 18, Section 9, in the context of criminal law, this section defines a vessel of the United States as any vessel documented under the laws of the United States, and it also covers vessels owned in whole or in part by citizens of the United States. Title 33, Section 1321. This section, which is part of the Clean Water Act, defines a vessel in the context of oil and hazardous substance liability, generally following the broad definition found in Title I. These are some of the primary sections where you'll find definitions of vessel, but there are others depending on the specific legal context. If you need more details or specific definitions for a particular area of law, just let me know.
Now, I want you to also do the very same thing under the Code of Federal Regulations.
In the Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, the definition of vessel appears in various titles and sections depending on the context. Here are a few key examples. Title 19, Section 4.0. In this section related to customs duties, a vessel is defined as every description of watercraft or other contrivance used or capable of being used as a means of transportation on water. This definition is similar to the one found in the U.S. Code. Title 46, Section 10.07, in the context of maritime credentials, this section defines a vessel in a similar way, emphasizing its capability of transportation on water. And Title 33, Section 2.36, this section related to navigation and navigable waters also includes a definition of a vessel that aligns with the general understanding of it being any watercraft used for transportation. These definitions are consistent across different sections of the CFR with slight variations depending on the specific regulatory context. If you need more specific details, just let me know.
Okay, so if you look at Title 18, U.S. Code 9, and it says vessel of the United States means, and it gives what that means, would a vessel of the United States ever apply to, say, a company or a trust or any kind of legal fiction that has been created?
The definition of a vessel of the United States in Title 18, Section 9 primarily focuses on the vessel itself being documented under U.S. laws or owned by U.S. citizens. It doesn't directly apply to entities like companies or trusts as legal fictions in and of themselves. However, if a vessel is owned by a company or a trust that is registered in the U.S., or if the vessel is documented under U.S. law, then that vessel would be considered a vessel of the United States. So it's more about the vessel's ownership or documentation rather than the legal nature of the owning entity.
Correct. That's what I was thinking too. It's never about the trust or the corporate entity. It's about the item that is owned by the entity, be it a car, a semi-truck, a boat, a plane, as examples.
Exactly. The legal definitions usually center around the item itself and how it is documented or owned rather than the entity that owns it. So when it comes to determining whether something is a vessel of the United States or any other similar classification, it's really about the registration and ownership details and of the object itself.
Well, thank you for the time. That was all I needed.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you ever have more questions or need help with anything else, just let me know. Have a great day.